Mhm. Hello, good morning. We're gonna let a few more people stream in, but I'd love if you gathered some mats, some paper towels, because we're gonna do some constellation work today as we work on some of our parts.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hi, Alana. Good
Good morning.
Good
morning. Welcome,
morning.
Mary.
Good
Oh,
morning.
I need to go
Um,
get.
if we could all just grab some mats, some of the foam mats or paper towels, we're gonna do some constellations today. Then we're gonna do some constellations today. Yeah, it's February, so it's the new. Yeah, I think she's getting it, but I don't know why I already recorded. Hold on. Okay. Yay. Good morning. Um. So if you're just jumping on, please grab some mats. We're gonna do some constellation framework today. If you're on this recording. Yay. Some more people. Let them know. All right. I'm gonna say it one more time. If you're on here, please grab your mats. We are going to do some constellation work today. Please get yourself ready for that as we're coming into some new material. So, right now it is February 1st, and within February 1st, this has been Tu B'Shvat. This is new, like turning of the wheel with Imbolc as well. So, it's the roots are getting ready. Like, Tu B'Shvat is actually the celebration of the trees where the sap has started to flow, right? So it's like the water and fire of the actual sap inside of a tree is getting ready to do that work before the blossoming. And that's why we're celebrating the trees itself, because that means that then the fruits will come, right? The blossoms will come, the fruits will come back. And this is just a great time to get to know, like, well, who are you becoming and who are you stepping into after this winter? Right? It's inward as this time of the feminine as we come back into the time of masculine and to doing, you know, and that's coming up, even though it's summer. This is the build is actually right now. So also within our communication arc that we're currently in, we've been working on just acknowledging what parts of us do exist. What is the adaptive child? What are these core beliefs? And today we're going to map them out just a little bit even more deeply, and we're going to start actually giving them back to where they belong this month. Who are the holders of these beliefs? Where do our adaptive child, where have they been? Can they continue? Oh my goodness. Where can they continue to actually grow? And where can we give the adaptive children more responsibility? So not just like acknowledging it, but where are we giving them off? And I will go into more of this. This is kind of the start of February of, well, who are we? Where can we be giving things away? So as we're stepping in to who we are becoming, it's just more fully and consciously us landing in this growth. Okay. So some of the things that we've noticed that can be a problem, and if we can, good morning, Edward, if we can have our video on, it's really helpful to have our videos on for this.
We're
Just
gonna we're gonna join in a sec, bro. We're on. Yeah, we're figuring it out.
cool, thanks. Um, so sometimes we get stuck, maybe you all have been in it, in these conscious groups that you're just constantly stuck in these healing loops over and over and over again. Just Rain's like, oh, well, I just have to take care of my part, and now I'm in a process again. And like, no, I'm just doing my inner parenting work. No, I'm processing, I'm healing, I'm processing, I'm healing. And we're going over and over and over again. And so one of the things that Dylan and I have been like realizing this is when we're stuck in these endless cycles, we're constantly healing the same wounds, maybe a little bit differently, only to find ourselves triggered again. And this is happening because we haven't actually created separation between three internal states. You know, we talk a lot about different three states, but today we're going to focus on the wounded child, the original pain and core negative belief, the adaptive child, the brilliant protector that developed the strategies to avoid re experiencing the wound. And this would be the protector, but we're just simplifying languaging a little bit as Dylan and I are simplifying things. So the adaptive child. And then the wise adult, which is and luminous would be the crystal heart mind, where you're actually able to see and feel in that aligned, integrated self that can parent both. So, a lot of the times, oh wait, got this person in. A lot of the times when we're in these loops, we're not actually aligning with the wise adult. It's more like the adaptive child, that brilliant protector, is the one that's coming online. We're actually getting to know that protector, and then they're the ones that are taking care of the wounded child. So it's like we have an older child taking care of a wounded child. And what we're trying to invite in is this wise adult self that's actually able to see so clearly, stay into, right, that oneness, that place of all seeing, to be the one. Let me mute this. Hello, George. Mute you. To then be the one that's actually seeing and is then the one parenting the wounded child and the adapted child. Right? So we're just going to go a little bit more into the wounded child, and we're going to get out our mats. So if you're here and want to collect any mats or paper towels, we're going to go into a constellation later. So you can actually start feeling what these are. So right now we're just naming them, and then we're going to lead you in. So with the adaptive child, with the wounded child, this is the one that's actually experienced the original pain, trauma, or unmet need, usually happening right from 0 to 3 in those core years of attachment. And the wounded child would be the one that would hold the core negative belief, right? And that's what we got to a couple weeks ago. And maybe I'm not good enough, I'm unlovable, I'm not safe, I don't belong, whatever that core belief would be, that's held by the wounded child. And it lives in a timeless space. And it doesn't actually know the trauma's over, right? Because these wounded children just freeze in time. They reach and reach and reach, and it's unmet, and they just freeze there. So these wounded children just carry the pure emotional experience of fear, shame, abandonment, or terror. Something important to remember is the wounded child isn't broken, but they are carrying an accurate record of what happened, what emotion was there. The wounded child. And then we have the adaptive child, which we have been calling protectors. In the parts work, it's a lot of protectors, the firefighters, and we're just simplifying it. It's just the adaptive child. That core wound happened, and now there's been an adaptive child that's been growing with you this whole time, learning how to survive so that doesn't happen again. Right? So the protective mechanism that developed in response to the wound. And it's going to use strategies and patterns designed to prevent re-experiencing the core wound, whatever it can, so it doesn't re-experience it. And this can operate from the core belief as its organizing principle. Right? So if it does everything in its power not to feel that core belief, if the core belief is I'm not good enough, then the adaptive child might use avoidant attachment to never risk that closeness, to never risk being rejected. It's not going to actually be in that deepness of intimacy. It may become a perfectionist, so it can prove their worth through achievement. It may people please constantly to gain approval and worth, or maybe even rebel and push away just to be rejected before anyone else is rejecting it. So that's the the principle that it's now living from is that core wound. And the adaptive child is now just growing with you. So when this loop happens, if we just map it a little bit now, it's like constantly processing in this healing journey loop as your adaptive child is probably the one parenting the core wound. Oh, I don't feel like I'm good enough. Well, it's okay. Screw all them anyways. I got you. You don't need to feel that. We're here together. I'm never going to let you feel that again. Right? It's not the wise adult. There's still so much duality, so much othering. Me. There's no the us in relational. There's no us in the world. There's no us with God. There's not zooming out into the wise adult that knows, that's just tapped into that knowing, right? So the wise adult, the crystal heart mind, that is aligned and integrated self. So the heart and mind is in 100% alignment here. And it holds two qualities simultaneously. It's connected to consciousness, inner being, divine connection, compassion with God. And it also doesn't have attachment. So it's non-reactivity, complete freedom. Right? It's connected to your essence, that place of alignment, that non-dual space. So it can hold the wounded child's pain. Oh, I feel like you're not worthy. You're not good enough. But it doesn't get consumed into the story. Right? It can actually, and then it can also appreciate the adaptive child's protection. And then, you just want to reject the whole world. Okay, I can be with that too, right? It's so much infinite space to be with, to hold both. And it's not going to get controlled or be consumed because the wise adult is tapped into that greater field of consciousness. And from this place, you can start making decisions from alignment and not fear, because that adaptive child is also held. Okay, and an important thing before we continue is that the wise adult is not spiritually bypassing. It is not intellectualizing or performing or dissociating. That can happen so much. Think, I'm just with God. We're not part of this, or I'm tapped into the universe. It's all good here. So you're bringing that wisdom in to hold still your connection, to then hold the adaptive child, to then hold the wounded one of, actually, this is where you can get resource from. You're right. This is available to you. This is where we get to integrate and feel safe from these greater places of awareness. And now you just get to be and move through life, right? As that transmission. I know a decent amount of you practice non-dualism that are on this, either recording or live right now. And that's one of Dylan and my big practices too. Really, we have non-dual meditations. Do non-dual meditations for 2 hours a day for almost 10 years now. Maybe, I don't know, since I was 17, so I guess longer than that now. And even though we work in parts work with these adaptive children, it's bringing back, how do we bring that consciousness to all these places so it's actually integrated, so there isn't spiritual bypassing, but we're not getting our connection or our needs met from these wounded children, from these adaptive children anymore. So the spirals aren't happening. We're constantly remembering, this is where the access is from. So if you haven't gotten any mats or paper towels now, I'd recommend you do so. If anyone has any questions, we are going to map this out so you get to kind of embody and come into your own experience with this now. But if you have a question, please raise your hand or write it in the chat. We can answer before we continue. And if you feel good and you got your things, just give me a thumbs up and we are going to continue. All right. Great. OE Max, do you have paper towels? Maybe. No. Okay. Even if you're in the car, is there anything you can find to sit on? Napkins, hats, right? It's anything that just isn't. Perfect. Yeah, it gets to be this useful. Perfect. Everyone's mom loves them. We all get that memo. Yeah, just seeing what you can even tap into while you are in movement. You can always come back to this in the recording too. All right, so as a lot of you know, I practice family constellation work. This is one of my favorite ways to actually create a systematic mapping process to spatially represent different parts of our internal system and actually access that knowing field, the collective unconscious information of our patterns. So it's very useful. Some of you are new in doing this, and you just get to experience it. It can be a little weird, and we're just going to drop into it. So the first one, is we are going to grab the first mat. Yeah. And we're just going to call in the wise adult. Just breathing in, placing it between your hands, and just calling in the wise adult. And when you're ready, you're just going to sit on the wise adult. We're just going to start grounding in to them. Yeah, start breathing, feeling your body on your wise adult. And just feeling how your breath is in your body. You can place your hand on your heart if you like. And just feeling this part of you that's whole, aligned, and connected to the divine wisdom. The part that can hold everything with compassion and clarity. And just feel this in your body. Where do you sense spaciousness? Where do you feel grounded? Where does alignment feel like in your body? Where does alignment feel like in your body? Sorry. Just noticing your breath, your posture. And you're just going to mark this spot for you, what this feeling is in your body, how it feels in space and time. And when you're ready, we're going to get off this mat and you're just going to place it to the side. And when you're ready, we're going to get the next mat. We're going to tune into our younger self, the wounded child. And so when you're ready, you're just going to take this mat, fuse it with the wounded child. And then sit on it. And just notice, as you sit on it, what shifts for you. I know we can call on these parts, but it is very different when you sit on the mat. So as you're sitting here, notice what happens with your body language. And listen to it if you want to just lay down, if you start wanting to just move into more of a ball shape. Listen to your body and just honor whatever actually feels comfortable. If your body wants to tighten some way, let it. What would it be to meet this wounded child? Yeah, just notice your breath. Just from here, you can ask yourself, when did you first learn your core belief about yourself? And we found this a couple weeks ago. If you don't remember it, you can also ask on this mat. Just find what your core belief is. If it comes, it comes. No pressure to find it. And ask it, how old were you? Let's feel in your body how old you are. And what was happening? And now just connecting with what this young one feels in their body around this. When you're ready, we're going to take off this mat and just place it where you feel drawn to in the room. However far or close you intuitively feel it should be from your wise adult. Yeah, just let your intuition choose. Notice if your wounded child is facing toward or away the wise adult mat. And as you look at your two mats, just notice, how does this position feel? How does it feel in your body just witnessing them? And when you're ready, we're going to get a mat for your core negative belief. You ready? We're just going to sit on that. Yeah. And as you look at your wounded child, this is a soft gaze at the wounded child mat. Just see what can come up with the statement, deep down, I believe I am. Whatever it may be for you. And once you have it, you can write this down anywhere so it can really stay in your head. It's in your memory. And when you're ready, you're going to step out of it and you're just going to place it wherever it would like to be, right? So same, trusting your intuition. Where does the core belief want to go? And as you place it down, you give yourself a little wiggle, right? Any reminder, this isn't, connecting you back. Okay, the core belief is its own force in the constellation, and it's kind of the organizing principle today. So just noticing where it wants to be placed. How far away is it from the wise adult? How close is it to the wounded child? And this is just a way for your body to actually see externally what is happening, maybe in that internal relationship. And by looking at this, it's also revealing just how much power this belief still has in your system. Because if it's not connected to the wise self, right, it's still here. It's still with that wounded child as something that's alive. All right, now we get to find our adaptive child. The one that keeps protecting and learning and growing every day. So when you're ready, get your mat for the adaptive child. We're just infusing it. It's the adaptive child. And we're just going to sit on it, letting your body connect. The adaptive child was created to protect the wounded child from ever experiencing the core belief again. So just feeling what's happening with your body now. You're getting really sleepy. Your body feels heavy. Maybe it feels very tight. Whatever is happening for you. And where does this part, just notice what happens in the body. What is the body nervous system response when we are with the adaptive child? or with the part that's been protecting you from feeling the core belief. So feeling into this, what is its job? What strategies does it use? How hard has it been working? Yeah. Either you have it, I'm going to just go over 3 sentences and you can just see if it almost clarifies and distills these things into an easier wording. My job is to prevent you from ever feeling I'll do this by. What's its main strategy? If I stop protecting, I'm afraid that. And when you have these answers, just get off of your adaptive child and see where they would like to be. You're just listening to your body and your intuition. And just noticing. As you place it between the wounded child and the wise adult. Is it hovering over the wounded child? How close or far are these things? And when you're ready, we're going to take the wise adult and we're going to sit back on the wise adult. And just notice how it feels in your body, coming back to the wise adult, coming back to this place of alignment and integrity, connectedness. Notice how your breath and your body language changes. Oh. And just with a light gaze, look at all three on the floor. The wounded child, the core belief, and the adaptive child. And you're just noticing what happens when you look at them. And we're going to have you have a light gaze directly to the wounded child first. If any words come directly from you, you're welcome to say them. I'm going to give you a prompt. Family Constellation enjoys very clear sentences. But as you look at your wounded child, I'm going to say, I see you. Just repeat after me if you want. What happened to you was real. You're not broken. You deserved better. I'm here now, and you're not alone. I'm just going to say it one more time. I see you. What happened to you was real. You are not broken. You deserved better. I'm here now, and you're not alone. And then just notice in your body, it just receiving that. And if there's any sort of discharge, shaking, yawning, as your wounded child is being connected with. And now we're going to give a soft gaze to the core belief. You were formed from pain, not truth. You've had so much power. I'm bringing in a new truth. I'll do one more time. You were formed from pain, not truth. You've had so much power. I'm bringing in a new truth. And just notice the core belief receiving it. Wherever your body's discharging, removing. Now we're going to look at the adaptive child. Just notice how your body feels when you're looking at this adaptive child. And you're going to say, thank you. You've worked so hard to protect us. You've been brilliant and exhausted. I'm here now. You don't have to do this alone anymore. I've got us. And one more time. Thank you. You've worked so hard to protect us. You've been brilliant and exhausted. I'm here now. You don't have to do this alone anymore. I've got us. Yeah, just allowing your body to naturally discharge and release as you're making contact. Yeah. And from this space, notice if your constellation wants to move in any way. If anyone, adoptive child, core belief, the wounded child actually wants to shift positions as you're on the wise self. Do any parts want to move closer or further away? Notice where your core belief wants to go. Is it ready to shrink off and move to the periphery, or is it actually coming closer to the wise self? And as you have your new configuration, just see how that feels to rest into the wise adult. Notice if you can feel the capacity of the wise adult that's able to hold all of these parts. Maybe it feels seamless and easeful to hold all these parts when you're in your wise adult. It's natural to hold them all. Feel into how this protection was needed. But now you have more options. You have more resource. Maybe notice how the wise self can tend to these parts and pieces, what that would even feel like. You're on your wise self right now to tend, to meet. And just notice this feeling of not being consumed by it all. When we're tapped in and into our wise self, into this connected place, how we don't have to be consumed. So you have that capacity and awareness to be. And so just even as you're sitting here, this is what we're trying to point to, which is different and can shift from these triggers. This new pattern is, there's a trigger. Even like, look, as I'm saying it, notice where these mats are, right? When we're in our wise self. Maybe there's a trigger that could happen. Your wise adult notices the trigger. Your wounded child gets activated. The adaptive child wants to protect. And then feel, right, they're all here. The core belief, being protected, is alive and well. And then just feel all the room here for compassionate space. And we can ask ourselves the question from the self, from this place in self, what does alignment require? And from this question, well, what does alignment require? We then get to create a conscious choice. Okay, so the loop is breaking when we can be with the wound without being consumed by it. And with the protection, they're all here, all of our parts are they're here, we're humans, but we're not being controlled by it because we're in the space of self, the wise self, and in awareness, connected with awareness. The last thing we'll repeat as you're on yourself, just placing your hand on your heart, feeling the wise adult. And if you feel called or resonate, you can repeat after me. I am not my wound. I am not my protection. I am the consciousness, compassionate awareness that can hold it all. I'm going to do it one more time. If you want to tap on your heart, you're welcome to if that feels supportive. I'm not my wound. I'm not my protection. I am the conscious, compassionate awareness that can hold it all. And when you're ready, we're just going to take these mats, paper towels, whatever you use. We're just going to place them together. Thank them for being here, and you just shake them off with gratitude, just intention. Thank them for being here and place them on the side. You can even use the paper towels again. They're not holding anything, just a mapping system. This work is not about eliminating parts, it's about right relationship. It's my favorite part of the constellation work. Even when people pass away, they're still here, still in the field, but we can bring in right relationship with them. We can do so much work with people that are alive or past. Right? All these parts are necessary. The wounded child, right, that carries that tenderness, our authentic pain, it helps you feel and connect. And the adaptive child is so intelligent. It's been growing with you in your resilience and your survival. It's been here since this core belief, since the wounded child. There's so much reverence and love and gifts from the adaptive child. And it's that now you're an adult and you can make a conscious choice to enhance your awareness and your connection with your own wise adult that actually carries your wholeness and your alignment and your truth. This has also always been here. but it's just bringing you in more and more into that space. So, if you go into a loop, you're going in a processing loop. This is just a very useful way to map. Obviously, you'll have the recording. When you're in a trigger, oh, what would this wise adult, what are they needing here? Right? Where can they oversee and have that capacity and that connective awareness to actually see what is the conscious choice? What's the space that's needed and how to move forward without reactivity and protection? You're actually going to move on with clarity and ease. Yeah. You were just working on not being consumed or controlled, and instead being in this conscious control and awareness when we are working in the 3D aspects of relationship. I'd love to know if anyone has any questions or anything they want to share. No worries. Yeah.
Thank you. That was an amazing process, so powerful. I found it so interesting because there were two of us in the room to see how differently we placed our mats and, pointing towards or away and all the different placements. It was fascinating, really so powerful. And I noticed a shift in, wanting to bring my wounded child close. Like I actually had to place it behind an object in the room, so I couldn't even see that poor little wounded child, and to bring it back close was really just so powerful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Mm.
Hi,
Hi.
it's great to see all of you. Um, I noticed that when Ron and I first started doing this work, I would place parts of me that like really represented members of my family very, very far from me. And I mean, I'm in the car, I can't place stuff that far, but I felt no like need to put the wounded child far away or to put my like negative core belief far away. I was actually really comfortable being with it. So I like brought it really close. And yeah, this is here. That's it's okay for you to be here.
Mm.
Be here.
Oh, thanks, Max. That's awesome. Mm. These maps can be such a fun way to actually just see where we're at because no one's controlling you to put anything anywhere, but your body can tell you if something actually feels extremely uncomfortable. I've worked with people and their parents need to be in other rooms or outside. You're just fully outside, even though we're working on their parents. You can't even be with them. And then it can shift because we're actually doing that work, and it's this incredible thing of actually working with the field and how it can change and getting to see things outside of ourselves. And so we're not merged. That's why I just love the mats, because it's just, we don't have to think that we are the sadness or the grief or the anxiety. We are the core belief. As soon as we just put it outside, even if we're still grieving and still very angry, just this remembrance of like, all right, that's just a part. All right, anger is there, and I'm still whole, I'm still in my connection. Right? I'm still in my wise adult. I have access to that. And wow, really angry that it all gets to coexist and there's enough space for all of it. We can hold it in the awareness. Does anyone have anything else they want to share?
Yeah, I could share just quickly since this is my first time trying something like this. Max invited me, and I was so surprised how connected I was to the process and how much I could actually feel when you said just be intuitive about it and feeling that kind of put in place things. One thing to share is that I felt to place the wise self kind of behind me as like a support for myself now, and that's been insightful because I think I need that right now to lean into that. No, probably some other things. So I just thank you for the process, being able to try it.
Thank you so much for trying it and being yes to doing it even on your first time. I know it, if you've never done it before, it can be a little out there of a new way of doing it. So I love that. Yeah, your awareness in your body is actually so ready for it that it came with ease, which is a great, just noticing for you, because when something's easeful, it's just your body and your system actually wants it, and it resonates on some in some level. So I'm really glad you're here. Yeah. And next week, Dylan will be teaching. My husband teaches the next week, so I get to experience him too. And we did this mapping today, and then next week we're going much deeper actually into this wise adult and how we get to access it more and more quickly when we are coming into conflict and triggers. At least that's where we're at as of yesterday. It may change based on the week, but as of yesterday, we felt really solid about that for next week. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. Well, thank you all so much. If you have any questions or things to add or notice things, you can reach out to me privately or in the group. So, thank you all so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Yeah, and just deeper connection with your wise adult and get through triggers more easily. I'd love to hear if there's any feedback throughout the week. All right.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.